Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Mary Grace. It's the 9th of March, 2021, and we've got a good show for you today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Periscope people. If you're curious about Periscope, I'm on my backup account, which is Real Mary Grace. And you can retweet it if you're on Periscope. If you're coming in on Facebook, it's Mary Grace Media. It's Mary Grace Media on YouTube and Clout Hub channel 111. Thank you, everybody who's here. Thank you for sharing. Please share to groups on Facebook. Share to groups and get this out. If you're coming in on Periscope, there's no guarantee that I will be here after a while. We're on thin ice here. So if you are committed to watching me only on Periscope, I recommend that you think about changing venues. I'm just using it while I can. It's going away at the end of this month. So if I get my old Twitter account back, I will try to do Twitter live. But we'll see. So come on in, Mary Grace Media. You can go to my website, marygracemedia.com. You can click on my social media links from there. So if you're new, if you're just finding me, you can find me on different platforms. I am on YouTube, Mary Grace Media. Good to see everybody. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for inviting followers. That always helps. And we are getting the word out. Everybody seemed to be in a good place yesterday after my show, after I talked about some of the messages that we were getting on live stream. And I need to check in with our George Telegram today. They haven't really been posting. Let me just see. I figured out something pretty neat, and that is this. I figured out that you could do folders on Telegram. Has anybody else figured that out? Uh, did you happen to watch Friday's Steel Truth? No, but I'll ask her about that. Anyway, so there's folders. You can do folders on Telegram, which is great. You can do folders. Is my wingman in the house? Somebody's saying hi to Todd. Hold on a second. I need to see on Periscope. Is he there? Where is he? I don't see him. There you are. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I wasn't following you. Oh, this is my backup account. There you are. Okay. Well, he may be having trouble getting in. All right. So I see people saying hello to him. Sorry, squirrel. Okay. Yeah, Telegram. So we were talking about Telegram yesterday, and I'm not giving tutorials, but I am going to tell you that I discovered folders. So if you're having a hard time getting through the content and having the feed refresh all the time, you can create folders, and so you can have your favorite Christian Telegram things in one folder. You can have your favorite political people in another folder, etc. So that's pretty cool. So now I have a folder for the the telegrams that I manage. Isn't that great? So I don't miss anything. All right, so that's my little Telegram tip for today. So as you're coming in, please say hello, please share this, and we're going to get started. I have an interesting show today because I wanted to tell you a little story, and I think that it might help you understand a little bit of what's going on. So everybody is in a different place with regard to where we are in the process. Some people think that the president is gone. He's not coming back. Some people think he shouldn't come back. Some people think that he paid the price and did enough for the country and he's better off outside of the seat of the presidency. Everybody has different opinions, but you know where I stand on this. And the important thing is that we don't tear each other down in the process because we're not all going to agree. And everybody has a different tolerance. Everybody has a different level of tolerance for hope and hanging on. And so uh, that's something to keep in mind. Can some people can put up with the uncertainty. Some people can't. All right. And so just remember that. Just remember that everybody has a different tolerance for this. And so some people have chosen to sort of just be in that place of hoping for the best, but not really trying to figure it out, right? They're trying to cope with the situation that they've been dealt. So just keep that in mind. So it's really important that we don't judge each other, that we don't jump on, that we don't eat our own, right? That we don't turn on each other just because some people have given up hope. Now, that being said, I am really wanting to keep things positive. So sometimes I will really ask people to dial back on the negativity or on the fatalism. And so so that's something. Now, that being said, I really believe that the president is coming back. Do I know when? No, I don't. Do I wish I knew? Yeah, I do. But everybody wishes that. And one of the things that we've been doing is, we've been keeping track of the George channel. And I talked about that yesterday. And I wanted to talk a little bit today because last night we got a surprise live stream from George on YouTube. It wasn't announced. They came on just before midnight and they were talking in the chat. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I'm not going to go over it today. I'm going to ask you to watch the broadcast that I did yesterday because I explained in some detail about what is going on in the Telegram and in the live streams that they do. So go back and watch that if you feel like you're not keeping up with what I'm talking about. But anyway, so they did a live stream last night, and I was looking in the comments, and one of the things that they said was, we don't and have never given dates. We don't say we talk to that letter of the alphabet as some do regularly. I'm not going to say it because I don't want a channel to be taken down. Watch who you follow. That statement has never been more relevant. Now, there are a couple of things that I want to point out here, and I said this last week. George has said a couple of times now, we're not giving dates. To me, this is significant because if because if nothing were going to happen, they wouldn't distinguish, they wouldn't delineate and say we're not giving dates, would they? The fact that they are saying we're not giving dates and that we're not pretending to be in direct contact with this person, with this insider, that to me is significant because it indicates that something is going to happen and that these guys are in the know more than most people and that they are telling you to just keep it together and not to go chasing every rabbit trail that comes along, every squirrel that comes along. And I told you this weeks and weeks ago that there are people who are out there who are ready to fill the void because the drops stopped. People weren't getting intel, and the accounts that normally were giving drops sort of went quiet, or the ones that were interpreting the drops. And so that whole combination of factors came together to open the door for opportunists who would come in and try to prey on this empty space, the void, the need that people have for wanting something else. Okay? So just keep that in mind, and this is what they're confirming for us, is that, you just need to sit tight and be very, very careful about who you follow and who you're trying to get intel from, okay? So, okay, um, let me go to the next thing. Okay, somebody was asking me yesterday about the Bloodlines videos because George had them on their YouTube channel and they took them down, and I think they're recutting them with subtitles. And so somebody was asking, well, in the comments on YouTube last night, somebody said War Machine on YouTube has been showing Bloodlines videos for whoever was asking. So, War Machine on YouTube, I haven't checked it out, but this is something that George has been putting up. And so I think that if you are inclined, go and watch and seek out those videos. I think they're important and they're something that our intelligence insider has mentioned on several occasions. Follow the bloodlines. So that's something that, if you have the time and you're so inclined, I would go look for that. Okay. So here we go. Um, so this is interesting. They said, why have we stopped reporting on all POTUS and vice president daily movements in detail and in real time? I mean, we can, we just refuse to at the moment, but will do when necessary. They're talking about the person that was installed in they're talking about the person that was installed in the White House. So they're not covering the day-to-day movements. They actually did a survey this morning on the George Telegram to see how people are feeling about whether they want that information. Most people said no. So, I mean, it was like 50-50. Okay. I thought that was interesting. And then they ask, who do we serve and support? We know the answer to that. We serve at the pleasure of 45. All right. And then the backup channel had 5 American flags. 5 is significant. And then they put up the lyrics again. Can you hear the people singing the songs of angry men? That is from uh, Les Miserables. Okay. And then they put up something interesting. They put Pier 6 NYC. Did anybody research that? Pier 6 NYC. I know that that is where helicopters come in and out of New York City, where they do the helicopter tours, but there are other things going on Pier 6 too. They put this in here without any other comment. I think that's interesting. I did not research it. Okay. So, okay, they were giving instructions about how to watch on YouTube. Okay. So this is interesting. Joe Biden pledges to take on sexual assault in the military from the top. How's that for a headline? Oh, the hits just keep coming. Okay. Uh okay. Not everyone has Telegram. That's why we're here. And they said they're here to give information to people who don't have Telegram. And then they said Governor Killer Cuomo and the White House have all comments off on YouTube. In case you didn't know. Isn't that interesting? Why do they have all the comments turned off? The people awake is their greatest fear. Is everybody still here? Is everybody just listening? Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Then they said, just an observation. This was an interesting comment. Just an observation. TV show 24 built exact replicas of the Oval Office, West Wing, and Camp David on a soundstage. Every, and this is all caps, every detail was totally indistinguishable from the real thing. Do you want me to read that again? Just an observation. TV show 24 built exact replicas of the Oval Office, West Wing, and Camp David on a soundstage. Every detail was totally indistinguishable from the real thing. And then they said, don't read too much into that. Was just saying. Again, and then they switch topics. Okay. Again, as said yesterday, every word spoken by DJT publicly, either voiced vocally or written, not once did he concede. Not once did he concede. Pay attention to the quote real DJT account on Telegram. Watch what they post and when. Similarities with other accounts. I did not find that account. Is anyone following it? If so, please send me a link. All right. Then they said, the battle is online. There is also another we don't see. Can you imagine? Here's another comment. I loved this one. Can you imagine describing this to your grandkids one day? Now, this is a question that I have for you. If we're losing, if this is all lost, would they ask that question? Can you imagine describing this to your grandchildren one day? Because I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this yesterday, that, when this happens, when we find out, this is going to be one of those moments where you always remember. This is because that's the kind of thing, there's two things that you describe to your grandchildren. Either total catastrophe, like 9/11, right? You remember exactly where you were in that moment. Or a complete and utter victory. So, when the Allies liberated, when we won World War II, when we found out we won World War II, okay, that kind of thing. I'm thinking it's the latter. When we find out, when the world finds out what was really happening and that our president is back, I think that's the kind of question they're asking. Can you imagine describing this to your grandkids one day? I was thinking about this because I was thinking that I'm going to know, I'm going to always remember exactly where I was and what I was doing when this news comes. How about you? This will be one of those things that we talk about for years and years and years to come, for generations. And then the next comment, DJT is not on Telegram. So the Telegram account that they were speaking of is not a real account. That's why it was in quotes. Okay? All right. I think we are going to be telling our grandchildren, our ancestors, of the great miracles that we saw. And, I had a dream about this. I told you. God told me, and then I had a dream about great, unbelievable victory celebrations all over the world. Todd is back. Where is he? Okay. Distraction. Yeah, just like the day that Princess Diana passed away, except this will be the opposite. This will be unbelievable victory. Yeah. Um, somebody said about the quote real DJT account. I took that as describing how we got comms from a live chat. Is that what you're talking about, Julia? Okay, so let me keep going here. Now, I noticed uh, they put up another. Hey, there he is. Todd, you need to follow this account so I can see you in the chat. Enrique is here. Everybody on Periscope, say hi to Enrique, my wingman. Okay, distraction. Now, the George channel put up another video, and it was a replay of Biden doing a ceremony. He was doing some promotions for the military, and it was the most awkward thing. It was just the weirdest thing, and he did something. He did something. A couple of things that I thought were just weird. One was that when he was finished, he was promoting two women in the military, and he walked in. He made a big deal about having the mask on and taking it off, and everybody else has those stupid things on. It's going to look so horrible. They're going to have to airbrush these things out in pictures for years to come because it's so stupid. But these women are standing behind him. They're getting promotions. So he's talking and he's reading the teleprompter, and then all of a sudden he sees somebody across the room, and he goes off script, and he talks about this helicopter pilot who landed them, um, a helicopter pilot who landed them on a snowy mountaintop when their helicopter went down, and then they had to then they had to go. They had to take a truck down the mountain. Did anybody catch that? It was just the most bizarre thing. It was so bizarre. It was just random. And it was George had actually told us to watch that timestamp in the video. And I watched it and I was like, why isn't it why did nobody pick that up? Why did the well, we know why the media didn't pick it up because they have no curiosity, but isn't that just strange? That's just weird. Okay. And then he turned around when he was finished. No mask. He forgot the mask because it's all for show. And then he turned around and he looked at these two women, and it was just this awkward weirdness where, like, I thought that he was supposed to salute them. They were supposed to salute him, but somebody told me that indoors that's not protocol. Okay. Um, but the one woman was like curtsying, and then she gave him a thumbs up. It was just like, it was just so weird because Matt, can you imagine that the commander, if he's the commander in chief, that you're giving him a thumbs up after you just got promoted in this incredibly solemn ceremony? It's a once in a lifetime thing. I mean, sorry. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. So it was really bizarre. It was just the whole thing. And obviously there's a reason that George posted it on their Telegram channel. I just thought it was very strange. And they told us to watch very specific timestamps, and they said the reason they don't cut videos like that and show you just segments is because then they get accused of manipulating the media. Okay. All right, let me go back to my screenshots from last night. I just thought that was a super bizarre situation. Uh okay. Um Now, here's what they said. They said, "How are we active on YouTube? It's a fine line. We have had channels terminated, and just now our older videos have been targeted." So this is why I keep telling you to make sure that you try to watch these things in real time. and that you get screenshots of the chat, because the chat is where the information is. I have new people on Facebook who are asking me about the George thing. Can somebody brief them? I did a whole show about it yesterday, so you can watch my replay. But I'm talking about a live stream. I'm talking about a channel on Telegram. Okay. So then they said, we are way past the point of trying to prove who we are, who we say we are, now focused on information distribution to you. And they have the two swords crossed. They said that in all caps, all caps. Okay. We are way past the point of trying to prove we are who we say we are, now focused on information distribution to you. Okay. And then again, they said Pier 6 with an American flag. There's something about Pier 6 in New York City that people need to figure out. All right. Uh, the speech that they referenced, by the way, the one with the fake president, was his Woman's Day speech. Weird, 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 weird. Okay. Um, and then they gave a survey. Okay, so that was it for last night. So what I'm going to suggest is that you follow the George News Telegram channel, and you make sure that you are putting notifications on for George News. Make sure you do that. And if you can set up folders, then you can have your George channels in in folders. So that would be awesome. Okay, follow along, everybody. They is the George channel. They is the George channel. Can you guys help each other in chat? Because I don't want to stop to answer a lot of questions right now. And I know that I'm having new people come in every day. So please help each other and make sure that you're following along. Okay. Um, okay. So now I wanted to say something, because one of the things they told us yesterday was, people keep asking and saying, uh, people keep saying, you know, why aren't we seeing anything happening? Why is it taking so long? That kind of thing. And they said yesterday very clearly, or the night before last, they said, we're talking about taking down decades of corruption, decades. And I was thinking about something that happened the other day, and I wanted to give you a little bit of an analogy to help you understand what is actually going on. Because, yeah, the people on YouTube, I'm talking about the George on YouTube and the George on Telegram. Same people. George News. Okay. Now, I wanted to talk to you about this because I've mentioned it before, and I think that people have this sort of simplistic idea that you can just, you know, take down the deep state and wrap it up in a bow and then present it and to the American people and say, voila, we're done. We fixed it. Right? I think that's what a lot of people were expecting from President Trump. And that's why there's a lot of disappointment, because the expectation was didn't align with reality. What I want to say is, it doesn't mean that the reality isn't a good outcome. What I mean is that the expectation was for a certain sequence of events and a certain timing. And because of the nature of what's happening, it's just impossible for anybody to meet that expectation in the way that you think it should go. And so I wanted to give you an example because, you know, the thing that is happening with the thing that's happening with President Trump and with, I believe, the military and with the insiders that have been working on this for quite a long time is that there are so many moving parts and there are so many factors that you can't account for. And so I think that it's important to understand that. Julia, can you send me a link to the interview Bards did with 107, because Bards does a lot of videos, and it's hard to filter through. I would love it if you would send it to me. Okay. Uh, so something happened to me the other day, and it I felt like it was a perfect example of what we're dealing with, because um, I had a situation the other day where, and the title of, yeah, if you could send it to me, Julia, that would be great. Okay. I had a situation that happened to me, and this is why I titled my broadcast today, um, Cats, Chaos, and Courage. So this is what happened. I was doing a work thing for my superfoods business, and I had a lot of people that I wanted to do some training for, people that I hadn't met, people who watch me, but then they were trying to launch a superfoods business. So I decided to do a Zoom call on Saturday, and I wanted to get everybody together and train them at the same time, right? And so I set up this call. I had some people coming on that I knew, but most of the people I had never met before. And so it was a business meeting, right? Strategy and training. And so I set it up, and I've run Zooms before. Everybody has by now because of COVID. And so I was using my old computer, and I have a Zoom account. Don't lecture me about all the problems with Zoom. I know they are problems. Uh, but but I have a Zoom account. I have a login. I have settings on my Zoom that I have used many times before. And so, I usually just send a link, and then people come in the waiting room, and then I let them in. That's it. No password. I don't require a password. That's just the way it works. So I send it out. Okay. So I started my meeting. I sent out the information, and I was waiting for the meeting to start. And I was sitting there waiting, and I was thinking, these a lot of these people requested the meeting. I don't know where they are. And I had just texted, I was in texting with people, and I was thinking, I just sent you the link. Where are you? And then somebody texted me and said, it's asking for a password. And so I looked at I was like clicking on my settings and trying to find the password. And then I decided just to start a new meeting. So I did that. And so then I was trying to send my Zoom link to all of these people. And the other thing is, the password for my email on that computer wouldn't work. And so I had to, email them from my iPad. So I was sending emails, I was texting, I was on Telegram, I was working on all of these different platforms and trying to get the Zoom going. And so it was a little bit chaotic. And so I got people on the Zoom, and and they were coming in one by one. And there was one person who never showed up because they actually got the time zone wrong, right? They thought it was they just got their time zone wrong. I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, so we started the meeting, and I feel like everything is frozen here. I don't know why. Let me just stop for a minute. Okay. I don't know if it was my internet. Are we still live here? Okay. So anyway, everything was just chaotic. It was crazy. Like, there were things happening in my Zoom that had never happened before. And so I had people coming in, and then and then as they were coming in, I had no sound. So I'm sitting there talking to everybody on my Zoom, and everybody's just sitting there. And nobody's texting me or messaging me and saying, "You don't have any sound." And so I'm trying to fix that. Couldn't fix it. Volume up, volume down, settings, et cetera, et cetera. So Zoom was just going crazy. So I ended up having to get on Zoom on my phone, which meant that I had two devices running Zoom at the same time. And then I was having feedback. And then all of my people they couldn't talk without me asking them to unmute. Like it was like a comedy of errors at that point. And then as I started to talk, I finally got everything sorted out to where people could hear me. Well, then I wanted to screen share something because I was doing a training. So I'm clicking around on my Zoom and there's no screen share. Couldn't screen share. Couldn't do it. And so, I thought, okay, well, whatever. I got up and went over and got my binder and showed everybody the thing that I wanted to show them. And so that, I'm going on, I'm having this conversation, and then eventually at some point later on, the screen share comes back. That was my experience with my Zoom. It was complete and total chaos. But wait, there's more. So, has anybody ever had a meeting like that where you're just running a meeting and like everything that could go wrong goes wrong? But there was more because unbeknownst to anybody in my Zoom, my cat Barley had gotten up on the table, and I have the table set up here in the studio where I have my audio interface on the table, I have my lights behind the table, I have the computer, I have the iPad, I have all these electronics and everything. And I had brought my cup of water to the table. And I usually I don't like drinking with the top on it, and so this is my water. I have this cup that, it's hard to turn it over. So that's my concession for not wanting the top on. But I had set it over here behind the computer. And when I set the cup on the table, Barley wasn't around. But he's so obsessed with water that he found it. And so while I was trying to navigate all of this chaos, Barley was up on the table and he was crawling across my audio gear. He was crawling across the audio gear, around behind the tripod, over to my water cup, and he had his whole face in the water cup, and he was slurping the water like this. He was like like this. I was trying to get the Zoom meeting started with all this chaos. And then he starts putting his feet in the water. And I'm trying to be really professional, like, "Hi, everybody, welcome." Yeah, and Barley's huge. He's like it's like having a mountain lion on the desk. And and I was trying to get rid of him, right? I'm trying to grab him, but I can't grab him because he's right behind my computer and he's got his whole head in the cup. And he's splashing it out. So all my notes are getting wet and I couldn't just push him off because the lights and everything were behind him. So if I had pushed him off, he would have dragged everything with him. Right? I mean, it was the craziest thing. And so, yeah, so nobody knew that was going on except me and Barley. And and so I was thinking about this, and I'm telling you this story not because I want sympathy, but because I'm telling you that that this is a my situation that happened the other day is a microcosm of what our president and all of his allies are dealing with draining the swamp. Because you're dealing with technology, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with unreliable people, you're dealing with cats and chaos. All of this, right? And this is me trying to have a 1 hour meeting. Now think about our president literally trying to herd cats. And my cat loves me. But a lot of the situation the president is dealing with are people that hate him, that people that have stabbed him in the back, people that say they're going to help him, but they don't, people that ask for something and then they don't show up. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying and where I'm going with this? Um, it just, this is so important to understand because, you know, as much as we want things to be happening and wrapped up and presented with a tidy bow on them and have this clean, sanitized version of draining the swamp, That's just not how life works. And, one of the things that you will continue to hear from from people who understand the military and a good military operation is that things change from minute to minute. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you are that you're stationed in the Middle East and you are part of an elite group like SEAL Team 6, and you're tasked with taking out a terrorist, and you find out, you're like on the verge of getting him or her, and you are in the village and you're going to storm the house, and just as you're ready to go, a little child walks in the house, like a 4-year-old or a 6-year-old or whatever, unknowingly, right? And you know that people might get killed in the process of what you're doing. And then and this is like weeks and weeks and months of planning to take out this one person. And then, you know, a child walks in to the scene. And so they have to pivot and go to the contingency plan. That's one scenario. So if you're taking down a global swamp, they have to make decisions in the moment. That's what I'm saying. Maybe they go, maybe they don't. We don't know. Um, yeah, I understand what you're saying on YouTube, Lisa, but you know, I'm talking about I'm just giving that as a scenario. All right. It could be something else, you know, who knows? But the whole point is that there's always something. There's always something that is interfering with the most perfectly executed plan. And I thought that my cat story was a good example of that. And I was just running a little business meeting. I'm not trying to drain the swamp. I'm not trying to take down really, really bad people that are trafficking in children. So, I just wanted to give people that perspective because, I see this all the time. I see people saying, well, that's it. This is it. I'm done. Um, and it's, to me, that's an incredibly immature perspective on things. If you're thinking like that, you probably have forgotten what it's like to be a parent, to be a teacher, to be in management over any group of people at all. And it's one thing when you have people that are actually friendly and cooperative. It's a whole different story if you have people that may or may not be stabbing you in the back at any turn. So that's what our president is dealing with. And you know we're not giving up. I believe that a lot of things have already been accomplished, but there's a lot more to go. That being said, I don't think that what we're going to find out is going to take as long as people think it is. So that's just what I wanted to put out there. And so yeah. Um yeah, our president has accomplished a great deal in spite of everything. I mean, would that he had only stray cats or willful cats like Barley. What imagine if his biggest problem was a Barley on the table, right? That would be so easy. He'd probably praise that his problems would be that small. Okay. And so yeah, we're not giving up by any stretch of the imagination. Absolutely not. So anyway, um now, I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to shift the topic here because I wanted to talk a little bit about food. I'm going to completely shift, but it's not a total shift the because one of the biggest problems that we are facing in this country and worldwide is that the food supply and big pharma, big ag, I believe have actually coordinated to um, to make America unhealthy. And I believe that it was actually intentional. And so part of the fight and part of the reason that I'm always talking about superfoods is because I understand the implications of what's been happening with our food. I'm not an expert at it, but I think that one of the things that people need to understand is that what they're eating in America today is most of what they're eating in America today is really bad. And that it's bad for you. And one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about this is that is that we can't count on the medical system to take care of us. We have to take personal responsibility. And when you look at something like Obamacare and you look at how bad it is and how hard it is just to get a doctor's appointment, look at how hard it is now, after COVID, just to get a doctor's appointment. People have to start taking personal responsibility for what you put in your bodies. Look at obesity rates in children. When I was growing up, there were no obese children. They didn't have nut allergies. They didn't have, all these wheat gluten allergies. Nobody talked about gluten free when I was growing up. Everybody was doing just fine. And, we didn't have kids with cancer when I was growing up. So obviously something is wrong. There's something terribly wrong. And, even the people and the institutions that we think are on our side, for the most part, they're still using industrial chemicals and foods. Okay. And somebody put some information on it's one of the channels that I follow. It's We the Media, and they said it's a video from they're showing something from Chick-fil-A, and I don't know if you guys realize this, but he's showing a label of some things, some preservatives that are in the food and the sauces. First of all, pretty much any sauce or dressing you put in your body is going to have high fructose corn syrup in it, and then it's also going to have it's very high in sugar, right? But also a lot of preservatives. But I just want to read this to you. So yeah, autism, dementia, like why is that all happening? It's because the gut is your second brain. So I want to read you this, okay? Because this is how I feel. We need to 100% clean up the food industry. The food industry and many companies put preservatives in the food that are carcinogens and toxic. Artificial flavors in there that are neurotoxins, uh, which overexcite nerve cells, particularly those involved with taste. So now natural unflavored food tastes less tasteful. uh, Food coloring, carcinogens, natural flavors to include, here's an example, Cenomix, which is fetal cells, and beaver anal gland secretions. Didn't know that. Okay, read your labels. Also, eat organic food that doesn't have labels. Our superfood has labels, but it's all food. You can read everything in the ingredients. Um, And so here's what they say. Okay, the food industry puts soy and soy products in virtually everything. Soy protein, soybean oil, soy lecithin, soy. Soy is estrogenous, meaning it promotes estrogen inside humans. Women can get extreme hormone imbalances and men become women. And we wonder why we have a bunch of effeminate boys in this country all souped up on doses of soy in every single thing they eat. Not to mention, almost all of it is GMO and is covered with Roundup, which includes glyphosate and atrazine, cancer, and more estrogen. So the Roundup thing is a really big deal, and that is something that if you've looked at the information that we have with our superfoods, we have something that actually takes the that gets a lot of the glyphosate out of your system. And I want to tell you something, those of you who are big meat eaters, I am not anti-meat. I love meat. I love beef. But one of the things that people don't understand about beef, about meat today, whether it's pork, chicken, any of that, is that uh, the farming, the feed that they are given is grown um, under industrial agriculture, and it's completely laced with pesticides. And so when those animals eat that food, when they eat the corn or the soy or the sorghum or whatever it is, they are actually ingesting the pesticides. Well, how do you think they fatten up those animals? Where does all of that stuff go? It goes to make a big giant chicken or a big fatty cow. All of this. Same thing with the fish. Exactly. All of the food that they're giving them is laced with pesticides. So when I eat fish or chicken, I hardly ever eat chicken, but beef, I get grass fed. When I that's this is why I eat our superfoods, is because I know exactly what's in our superfoods and I know how it's grown and how it's processed. And so I thought this was interesting that that people are talking about this on Telegram, because it's true. And I'm not like a food nut. I'm not like a vegan who's trying to get everybody to just never eat meat again. But what we have is so pure and so healthy. People are getting healthier on the superfoods um, because it's real food and because it's organic and because you're not getting pesticides when you eat or drink our shakes. Okay. Um, so it is, that's why I talk about it all the time. All right. Um, so yeah, Chick-fil-A also uses MSG. That's for sure. Yeah. So, I talk about this because I think it's really important for people to start understanding and taking your health into your own hands. Take responsibility for your health, and that's why that's why I use superfoods. So, a lot of people have gotten the superfoods. A lot of people love it. Uh, we have a plan that you follow. Super easy. You're still eating solid food with our superfoods. So, there's like a cleanse portion where you do 10 days of no meat or dairy or eggs or anything, but that's optional. And so, you just the best thing to do is experience it. So, I have a coupon code that you can use. It takes $100 off of of a whole month's supply of superfoods. So if you want that, if you're concerned about this, if you're starting to realize, maybe some of my health issues are because of my diet and because of prescription medications that I'm taking and things like that, send me a message, info@marygracemedia.com. Make sure you get the superfoods into your body. Yeah, and I do encourage you, if you are eating meat, make sure that you're switching over to grass fed and grass finished beef, not just grass fed, because you don't want it corn finished, because then you got the same issue. Okay. So, yeah, Delia is in the chat on Periscope. She's lost over 60 pounds with our superfoods, and it's just been a tremendous blessing for her. She's back down to like her high school weight. And she did it safely. That's the other thing I like about our superfoods, is that you're doing this, you're getting the world's best organic green nutrition delivered right to your door, and you're putting it in your body every single day. Uh, the superfoods do not have to be refrigerated, Marilyn. That's a good question. No, everything that we have is shelf stable, which is fantastic. And it's really good because if you want to prep for a situation where you can't go to the grocery store or something like that, you have you have a really good, very high level source of nutrition right in your pantry. Um, yeah. Somebody says superfood healed my husband's reflux. That's so good. I've had other people tell me that too, that the reflux goes away with these superfoods. It's amazing, isn't it? It's really amazing. Um, so send me a message, info@marygracemedia.com, so that you can get on these superfoods because, we have to take our country back. We have to take our health back. That's part of making America great again. We have to make America healthy again, right? So it's a big deal. And I'm not just saying this so that you can buy my superfoods. I'm saying this because I'm really passionate about getting people healthy. The other thing is, it's the brain. People tell me every single day that the brain fog goes away when you get these healthy foods into your body. So even if you don't think you need to lose weight, the weight loss is actually a byproduct of getting real organic green superfoods with a very high vibration and nutritional frequency into your body, because then your body is going, oh, hello. Hello, I have nutrition here for the first time in years. And that is what we're doing here. And it's an investment. You're investing in your health. um, the cost of our shakes is about $3 a shake. So you think about what you're spending at those other drive-through places, and think about dollar for dollar what the nutrition is that you're getting. When you go to a drive-through, it's zero nutrition. Yeah. Somebody said if you need acid meds for stomach, it's your food. Exactly. If you're taking antacids, if you've got heartburn, things like that, a lot of it's just the food. Your body is in an acid state. So our superfoods are going to help you to get to an alkaline state. So it's pretty remarkable. I'm so happy that I got it. Inflammation, extra weight, women, men, if you're carrying that extra weight around the middle, that's a big thing. Um, if you're having hormonal issues, this is tremendous. It really helps. So I'm looking at your comments while I'm talking here. Mary Grace, is it smoothies? Um, it's a it's shakes. So, it comes in a powder, but it's a live dehydrated powder. So it's living food. Uh, you can make smoothies with it. I don't find that I have to. I don't really like smoothies, but some people use it in smoothies. But it's complete nutrition without smoothies. If you're taking a multivitamin, you don't need that when you get on our superfoods. So they're not pre-mixed. You mix them, so it's shelf stable, right? If you're drinking, or if your doctor is telling you to drink something like Ensure, if you're over 40 or 50 and they're telling you to drink something like that, run the other way. Doctors don't have any nutritional training. Don't need a blender. Nope, you just shake it. Um, if somebody's asking if you can get a second order for a friend, send me an email. Um, I can help you do that. It's better to get a separate account, but I can talk to you about that. Okay, so just send me an email. Who is that? I don't see your real name. So just email me, info@marygracemedia.com. Hey, Cindy, I thought that was you on YouTube. Yeah, so info@marygracemedia.com, because you're going to get a voucher to save over $100 off of a full 30-day supply. It's a really good deal. Um, your endoscopy told you to take two Nexium for 16 weeks. Don't even do it. Yeah. Cindy, send me an email. I'm going to send you a video so that you can see what we have. It's real. It's totally real food, Susan, on YouTube. Yeah. It's the realest food you can get. Oh, okay, Linda. Good, thank you. I have so many Lindas. Um, yeah, it's real. But your question might be, are you actually chewing food during when you're using superfoods? The answer to that is yes. Yeah. So you're never just drinking shakes. It's not just a liquid diet. Um, yeah, antacids, that's a bad thing. Yeah, so, like, people, if you're taking statins or things like that, blood pressure medication, I'm not a doctor, but I'm telling you that I have a lot of people who are telling me that they get off of these medications when they get on this really good superfoods diet. So there's that. Yeah, if you have inflammation and GERD, this is something to look at, okay? So info@marygracemedia.com. I will send you a little explainer video so you can find out more about it, okay? Because I have a video that our superfoods expert goes through what we have. Okay, so I'm going to sign off now, speaking of food, and go eat dinner. Um, yes, you get to eat very rich foods. Um, info@marygracemedia.com. Thank you, Linda, for putting that in there. info@marygracemedia.com. All right, I'm going to sign off. I'm actually going to be on Greg Harvey's show on Thursday morning, I think at 11. If you guys watch Greg, I'll be on his show. And I will be back live on Thursday at 5:30 Eastern. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I am so glad we got to be here today. Keep the faith. Make sure you're following the George channel on YouTube and on Telegram. George has an official channel with a blue check mark, so make sure you're following that. If you follow my Telegram, Mary Grace Media Official, I do share the George things in my Telegram. But I will be back on Thursday, and I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you soon. Good night, everybody.